Welcome back to the Strange Noise Podcast, everybody.
What's
What do you do,
I don't know what to do with my hands. Yeah. I was like,
The intros always suck because it's kind of like a cold
Breaking the
thing.
ice,
Yeah,
everything.
you're going
Yeah.
right into it.
It's a cold opening.
Yeah, but trying to get situated still.
Trying to
Yep.
get my posture right. Fucking prick up my chest.
Say it with your chest.
Lift
My
those
fucking
titties.
Tits out. Yep. Tits up.
Does Jordan Peterson say shoulders back? Or
Shoulders back, yeah. Chin up.
oh, I just triggered somebody by saying Jordan Peterson.
I know, someone got fucking triggered.
No, you didn't mean it, but put your fucking shoulders back.
Please.
Yeah, clean up your damn room.
I'll
Yeah.
say sorry if you hit the subscribe button, please.
Absolutely. Speaking of subscribe, like and subscribe. Do we do that? Is that
Yeah,
what
we
we're
do
doing?
that. Yeah,
We're doing that, right?
Perfect timing.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured I might as well chime in.
Hit the bell.
Go
Like
for
and
it.
subscribe. Hit the
Yes,
bell.
there you
Do
go.
all
Hit the
that stuff.
bell, so,
Notifications.
Yeah, so you know when we come out with a new episode, which
Yeah.
is every week on
Yeah.
a day that is determined by Ray.
On a day that ends in Y.
There we go. I like that.
Ah.
Well, this one's probably dropping right before 4th of July, so happy
Ooh.
4th of July,
Yeah,
everybody.
happy Independence Day.
Yes.
Mhm.
I know in recent, with the climate, the political climate, that's
Mhm.
been a little bit under attack, right? I think
Yeah.
people have been saying like,
The 4th too?
yeah, dude.
Or is it the real Independence Day is pretty much Juneteenth? Right?
I think that's what some people are saying. You know
Yeah.
what? Like, I don't actually totally disagree with that in the sense of like, that's when everybody was free.
Was pretty much liberated, yeah.
Legitimate.
Oh, I
free.
get it.
So-
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do kind of
Yeah.
I am kind
I
of
can,
tracking.
I can get on that one in
Yeah.
my head because that
Well,
one
that
makes sense.
celebration
you know?
just passed too.
Yeah.
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 So.
I don't know all the info yet, but at least
Yeah.
in spirit, I can get on track with that. you
Yeah.
know?
That's interesting. We'll put a fucking pin in that one.
Yeah, we're gonna get educated on that one.
Yeah, I don't even know anything at all, but
Very little
makes sense.
Educated.
Kind of makes sense.
If for some reason you came to us for information, this was the wrong podcast
Yeah.
for that.
Just
Go
shut
to
it
like
right
Phil
off.
DeFranco or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not us.
We speak pretty much through the ass the entire episode, or the
Yep.
entire podcast.
That's it. Yep.
So please have grace for us.
Yep.
This is entertainment.
Yeah.
Strictly entertainment.
That's what we're here for.
Your Christian heart, have grace. Huh?
Yeah.
Or whatever your faith tradition.
Oh, we keep on triggering people with this one.
Speaking of entertainment, though, I will chime in really quick
Go for it.
because as of yesterday, the 26th, is that what that was? The 29th.
You
Excuse
said
me. Monday.
26 though.
Monday, 29th.
That's a track on the new Wu-Tang album. So
Yeah,
I mean,
the 29th, June 29th. We lost a comedy legend, Carl Reiner.
Oh yeah.
yes.
right, big. I'm
He
gonna
died
take my
at the age
hat
of
off for that one,
98.
bro.
Yeah, he died at the age of 98. And
Dude.
man, he just to give you a quick little backstory, he invented the show, the Dick Van Dyke Show. It was
Right.
literally based on his life as a comedy sketch writer, and he appeared on sketch comedy shows. Some of the first, one of them was I think it was called Hail Caesar. And there was another one that came right after that too. It was called The Show. And it was basically SNL before SNL existed.
Right.
Alright.
It was him and Mel Brooks, right? Right. They.
Before that.
Before
Him
that.
and Mel Brooks got together though from that. They were working on the
Oh,
show
okay.
together. They were both sketch, writers
Writers.
and comedians, actors. And that's how their relationship blossomed. And then what the show they started doing was the 2,000-Year-Old Man. And I have a excerpt from that because I fucking love it. The way it started was Carl Reiner was influenced by another show where a guy was apparently in the toilet of Stalin, and so it was that perspective, and he was like, I just heard that Stalin said that he's gonna blow up the whole world, but it was from the perspective of this person sitting in the toilet. So he was like, that's interesting, that's cool, we can do perspectives of anything. And so he ended up hitting up Mel Brooks, which became his longtime comedic friend, but he told hey, you knew Jesus, right? And he goes, yeah. Thin lad, wore sandals, long hair, walked around with 12 other guys, came into the store but never bought anything. He always asked for water. And those are the first words that he literally regurgitated because it's the whole, it's the yes and, it's
okay.
improv.
Yeah.
Improv, man. And I fucking love that. So reading that, it almost brought tears to my eyes because I live my life like that with you guys, and it's always a yes and it's just, so for him to pick up as perfect as you could with that, I mean, that's beautiful to tell someone, hey, you were there, you seen Christ, right? Oh yeah. Thing that's like a great fucking line to reply back.
They were playing some of the bits on the way home on NPR, and I was like, wow, it was like these jokes hit, like
Yeah.
they're still pretty funny. I was like, wow.
And it's because most of them are very racy and edgy. There's a lot of clean stuff
Risque,
too,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
they're very risque, and I love that. And so we
For all-
lost a good one.
For all those who don't know, he plays Saul on the Ocean's trilogy.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and he's also the father to Rob Reiner, who directed The Princess Bride, Stand By Me,
Yeah.
Misery, We Are Spinal Tap.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. So he blessed us with his son, who also blessed us with so many movies that like I just mentioned. You love those. We love them
He
too.
blessed us with his seed.
Yeah.
Ooh, comedy royalty.
Yeah, for real though, for real. He basically created Dick Van Dyke and the person and the show,
Yeah.
and Mary Tyler Moore.
Because I think his original pitch for Dick Van Dyke was for him to be the main character.
He was, yeah. The pilot episode was him, and he just didn't do well. But that was people credit him that way. They say, look, because he played the straight man to Mel Brooks's comedic,
Yeah.
the styles. And he was just always playing the straight person in that, comedy bit. And that takes a lot,
For anybody who doesn't know what straight man means, it's from the audience's perspective. So they ask the very logical questions
Mhm.
Yeah.
so that it's not anything to trigger anybody else.
Yeah, has something to do with that. But in the comedic, realm, it's it's that persona.
Yeah.
So you don't get to have a lot of the funny lines, basically, you
Yeah.
know. So for him to do that often, and they say he was just a team player. He just loved for the team to win. That was his idea. If we're gonna win, I don't care what happens. I'll
Yeah.
play any role. And it takes
That's
a lot
cool.
to do that.
Seemed like a very salt of the earth man. So
Absolutely, man. A lot of people can't say
enough good things.
enough good things. So yeah,
R.I.P. Yep.
There we
rest
go.
in peace. That was amazing. That was cool.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Sweet. But in other news, our Jumanji game is getting worse.
Oh, yeah.
our
Like
real
daily.
life.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw trending on Twitter was the giant bat.
Oh, God.
It was on Twitter.
That's where I originally seen that was trending, and then I
Okay.
seen I watched the Pat McAfee show, which he was a former NFL punter who has like a kind of a sports talk show he
Okay.
does now, and he was talking about it, and I was like, whoa! So I went to research this thing. So if anybody wants to check it out, just Google giant bat. You'll see
Yeah.
a giant bat.
Fucking giant bat. Like, it's disgusting.
So I know we had mentioned it last night. We were gonna mention the bat, and I was like, oh, it would be crazy. I don't know if this thing's real or not, but it's nevertheless entertaining. But it's actually real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it that picture you showed us? Because that one where it looked plastic and rubbery looked so fake.
The one he was hanging upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real.
That one's real.
That one's real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The furry one looked real. But
So-
the other one, he looked like Batman's fucking skin, you know?
No, yeah.
I'll throw up pictures of what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
crazy.
So the one where he's like hanging upside down, that one's real. That one's I
So
think
is he, real quick, 5 foot tall? I mean, like, or was
So-
it wingspan 5 foot?
so the wingspan is about 5 to 6 feet.
Oh, okay.
So their
okay.
actual body is 3 to 4 feet.
Yeah. But
So-
imagine that, the size of this table.
That's a giant.
Oh,
bat, dude.
yeah. That's huge.
That's
dude.
a fucking big bat, and it's probably meaty too.
Ew.
So it's like-
Ooh. I think on average they only get up. I think it said something like 5 to 8 pounds or something like that. They're very,
Yeah.
but mostly they're wings.
Yeah.
Dude.
They're all winged.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
They're all winged.
They're all bat wing.
Where the fuck did they like dwell? I mean,
Where are those ones from? Cambodia?
So they're in Cambodia, the Philippines, basically a lot of the like those East Asian countries, Central Asian countries.
Like
Well, tropical.
cave bats?
Tropical, yes,
Tropical,
yes.
yeah.
okay.
So
That's crazy.
Ooh.
that other picture that I showed you guys, the one where he's like has his wings out,
Yeah.
I'll throw a picture there. But that one's actually it's real, but the problem with that one is because I was researching them, it's a perspective thing.
Yeah, it's a perspective shot.
So
Yeah,
like the bat is actually closer to the camera than it really looks. So that
Okay.
one looks
Got
a
it.
lot more crazier than it actually
Yeah.
is.
yeah.
Okay.
So
But that dude, still think about it, like a 5 foot wingspan. Like
That's
dude,
wild.
it's like imagine like my body flapping through the air.
yeah, exactly.
that would have no problem like picking up like a dog,
little
a baby.
Yeah, a little,
For sure.
little newborn.
Yeah,
Whoop.
I was thinking like that's what the chupacabra was, you know?
Dude, actually, that's what they're called.
Ooh.
I think in the Philippines, they're called. Oh dang it, what was it called? The giant winged fox or something like that.
Hmm.
They have a name something similar to that.
Oh wow.
So
That's sick.
I
That's
see this
crazy.
picture today real quick of a tarantula with wings.
Whoa.
And they said it was real. I got to do a little more research. I'm going to do a little more research on this one.
Yeah,
but
it's a hybrid.
nevertheless,
imagine that, dude.
Yeah,
That's
we're
so-
fucked.
this freaking this real life game of Jumanji is getting
Yeah,
crazier,
it's
dude.
getting crazy.
Luckily, the bat is supposedly a fruitivore. I think that's what they're called.
Fruitivore? Is that like a thing?
So basically,
Eats fruit.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
herbivore. It's a class of herbivores, but they
Okay,
will.
I thought they just called those herbivores.
Well, it's a subcategory of herbivores.
Oh,
It means
okay.
they eat only veggies, but they actually prefer fruits.
He's a fruitarian.
Yeah, there you go.
Fruitarian. Oh.
Yeah.
So
It's a lot
I
of
think
sugar.
that's what kind of
Way off the sugar.
Yeah.
at least it's natural, at least not refined sugar.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan could be proud
Guess
of
that's
that.
good.
But yeah, I just that was crazy, and especially like, I mean, I just seen the story and I initially wanted to believe in it, no matter what.
Oh, dude, there's so many freaking like creatures of the sea and the land that we don't know about, and it's crazy when you
Yeah.
see like even crazy insects that look like leaves. Like what
Yeah.
the fuck? Because
So
that's how
wild.
they evolved.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Science is
They
crazy.
evolve and adapt. It's so wild. Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, especially since we just mentioned a couple episodes back the murder hornets that were
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
loose,
yeah, yeah.
which apparently everybody forgot about. And like,
I know
nobody saw-
exactly.
Oh yeah. There's
Someone-
like way bigger
someone-
fucking problems, I
Someone
guess.
passed that level on Jumanji already.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Those things. I don't know if we talk about it. How they evolved, like the European
Oh, yeah, we
versus
talked a little
Japanese.
bit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy how they developed defenses against that big ass thing.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
See, this could be a very scary thing. One good thing is that the giant bats are kind of on the middle extinction
Oh, okay.
list, so they could go extinct. But I mean, it doesn't take very many generations of evolution for them to just migrate from fruit over to meat, I imagine.
Like, hey,
So-
I know.
That's good. That's a good thought. I wonder
Yeah.
what takes that jump.
especially, I think a big thing is like the style of teeth you have,
Yeah.
and they have kind of like little like
That does make
kind of dog canine
Yeah.
style teeth. So
Mm.
it wouldn't take much for them to jump, start eating
Oh
humans.
shit!
Yeah. They just haven't tasted that flesh yet.
This is pork.
Yeah.
This is fucking bomb.
Ooh, salty.
Is it the Homer quote where he's like, I love sausage, bacon, and ham. He's like, those are all the same animal, Homer. He's like, you're telling me there's just one magical animal that produces all these good meats?
I love me some bacon.
I love me some Homer.
Me
Yeah.
too, man. In other news, I don't know if you guys heard about it, but there's a meme. Did I scare you? You fucking look scared, man.
Startled, woke him up.
You
a
look
little bit.
startled, dude.
I think I snoozed.
We're in the
Julian.
fucking same podcast, same episode, same room.
Yeah,
We're sitting
same
next to
room.
each other, and I fucking startled him. But there's a meme that's going around right now, and I call it a meme because it's basically that. It says, breaking news, Minneapolis City Council votes 12-0 to abolish police department after death of George Floyd and will replace it with the Department of Community Safety and Violence Prevention. Now, it's making a declaration, which is my only problem.
Mhm.
It's spreading misinformation. And
That's the headline, right?
that's the headline. So
okay.
that's it. That's everything that's being said. You know, that's what they're saying. And it's people are adopting it already, you know?
Mm.
So without investigating, without giving a full background, because really what happened is, yes, it did get voted by the city council 12-0. It was like a, unanimous decision to be put on the ballot. So potentially
Oh, to be
okay.
voted on.
to be voted on.
To be passed.
Yes. So
But-
this is making a declaration like it just fucking happened.
It happened.
Let's
Mm.
fucking celebrate. But that's not the case. But it's a little bit of misinformation, you know? That's the only
Yeah.
reason why I'm bringing it up, because I thought it was kind of funny in that misinformation type of way.
Well, this is kind of the thing with like the new like the whole like the fake news movement, right? Is like
Mhm.
is that a lot of the news outlets are like putting like clickbaity like headlines
Yeah.
in order for you to click on them. And I think a big problem is like majority of people now like don't actually read the full article.
Yeah, that's the way it looks.
So like everybody just kind of reads the headline
Yeah.
and they kind of spout that off with news. Like, I mean, I'm totally guilty of it too. Like,
It's all hot takes right now.
and especially like if it's a headline or a hot take that kind of agrees with whatever you kind of already believe or
Yeah.
what you
Or
want
even
to
the
be true.
yeah.
Yep.
Like we were just talking about with the bat. You know, like I saw the Twitter trending. I saw it on, you know,
You wanted to believe.
and I wanted to believe. I was just like, oh, it sounds like a cool story. So
Yeah.
I didn't go any further than
Right.
just like until I'm like, well, maybe if we're talking about it, I was like, maybe I should check if this is true. You know?
And then you do
Yeah.
your research, and boom, it was true.
Yeah.
Do you, this when you kind of mentioned this, like it kind of brought a like a thought. I wrote this down. I was like, do news outlets have a responsibility to write in a way, knowing how people read the news, you know that they're only reading the headlines or the first paragraph. So do we believe that news organizations have a responsibility to write headlines in a way, knowing that people are only going to read the headlines, are only going to read, you know, the first paragraph? So do they need to adjust how they word their titles of their news articles, or how they word their first paragraphs, or do like, because a lot of them, you know, kind of write in a certain leaning.
Yeah.
So, and they tend to prop up the facts or the details that kind of agree with that leaning.
Yeah. I mean, it's total bullshit. They should write in a way where they're unbiased to it. You know, I think that's how you're supposed to report the news.
So
traditionally, yeah,
because there is a place for opinion pieces.
Yeah, they're called opinion pieces.
Yeah. But everything nowadays is like an opinion.
It's become an opinion piece.
And there is an actual column for opinion pieces, but it's like in the main page where it's like this writer. You know, you kind of know the writers. You know, like, oh, I already know this guy has his own bias. So
yeah.
But a lot of people don't. You know, so they take that as truth and run with it.
And you know what's it's funny is that like a lot of the what I learned not too long ago was that, so if you look at news organizations like MSNBC, Fox News, or whatever, the main news anchors, the ones that people mostly see, you know, they see like, you know, the Rachel Maddow or whatever, those they're journalists, but they're actually personalities.
Yeah.
So they're actually not reporting news. They're doing opinion pieces.
Yeah, for sure.
And then people see them on MSNBC, on Fox News, and they're like, oh, that's truth.
Yep.
You know, even though it may have been an opinion, like it's leaning left, it's leaning right, it's leaning for this candidate or that policy or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You know, and people are like, oh, well, they take that at, you know, at face value.
Yeah.
And so this is what was my question. Like, do
journalistic integrity went out the window?
Well, they're kind of running in a technicality, right? Because they're going under the guise of like, well, I'm an opinion writer.
Yeah.
But they know in the back of their head that people look at them as, you know, actual arbiters of news. So they know that people aren't just thinking, oh, they're just writing an opinion. They assume that they're writing an actual news story, facts, you know? So where does that fall in? Because they are floating under a technicality that like, oh, well, I'm writing an opinion piece. You know, it's your responsibility to go and do your research and find out how true this is, you know?
Yeah.
And so, which I agree with that sentiment, but with how people read news now, do they have a different responsibility? You know?
I believe so. I mean, what I think about it is that, yes, they might be hired on as a personality or whatever, but I mean, you go to their bios and they say journalist, you know, and if you're going to take that mantle of journalist, then you should have some integrity when writing your stories in a sense to where it's not leaning towards one way or the other. But unfortunately, the way they get paid is by clicks and by views. And so they're like, oh, I already know this headline's going to give me a couple clicks.
Right. Yeah, they're selling the headline for sure.
So that's why I say like in journalistic integrity went out the window, because they're just writing to whatever's going to make them and their company more money.
Well, let's I want to take a different angle. Like, what if like the piece, the actual main article has all the proper information, let's just say it's written with journalistic integrity, but the headline is sort of misleading. So their main purpose is to try to get a click on that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then they leave it up to, it's up to the reader to read the rest of the article.
Right.
Now, is that seems a little, you know, sketchy to me, but does that fall in this weird gray area? Or
I mean, if the title was clickbait and the message was very direct, then it falls under the responsibility of the reader. You know, that's like if you don't read the full thing or the full article, then you're doing yourself a disservice. You know,
Yeah.
you clicked on
agree
it
with that,
and you
yeah.
gave them, you know, their, you know, I don't know if they get fucking money per click or whatever it might be, but you know, if you're not reading it, which if you did read this, this article in particular, you would know right away that there's still work to be done. You know, it's just the beginning.
One more time, I want to say.
So that was one of my things too. So you can freaking read through while I talk.
Yeah, go for it.
This right here, they need the community. They really do. Like this is a community effort now. Like from here, it's going into the hands of the community and the voters. And this basically is just you know,
this one
clickbait
though,
title.
Yeah, it's totally clickbait. Like it's to me, like this one's very misleading. Like this one doesn't even leave the option to make it sound like oh, read on for more information.
Yeah.
You know, this makes a statement. You know,
Yeah.
Minneapolis City Council votes 12-0 to abolish police department after the death of George Floyd and will replace it with the Department of Community Safety and Violence Prevention. Like it makes almost a statement.
Like,
That's what I'm
this
saying.
happened.
Yeah, they're declaring it. You know, it's a
And when you
statement,
read,
declaration.
It's like, hey, you guys got to go vote
and
for it.
then name dropping George Floyd
Yeah.
is a huge piece that's going to give that person that confirmation, you know, because of that. And we all know how horrible that was. This is what's happening. So it makes it seem matter of fact, which is fucked.
Yeah.
Because
dude.
really, I mean, the news outlet is doing a disservice to the community because the community really needs to know that there's work to be done.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why I brought it up. There's work to be done still. Don't fucking believe everything you see.
It's
I
kind
mean,
of
You have to read.
if you
have to
think
figure
about that
things out.
deeper, you could be like, oh shit, it's already done. I don't need to go vote.
That's why.
Boom,
Right.
they don't go vote.
that's
and guess
true.
what?
That could actually do whatever they're trying to spin it.
Oh, that's horrible.
That could undermine their cause.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
say they actually want that to pass, you know?
Yeah.
And then people are like, you're thinking like, oh, well, it's done. I don't need to go vote.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got what I wanted.
And
Yeah.
the people that I seen this through, the people that posted it, they had that train of thought. They were already like, we did it, you know? And it's like, you know, it's no, I'm not shaming those people. I mean, they're obviously trying to spread awareness by even posting something,
Yeah.
you know? So, you know, I applaud them, but it's the information that needs to accompany it, you know? Like,
yeah.
hey, they did vote it and they could have posted this and then followed it up with, there is work to be done. We got to get out there.
Yeah,
We
you
have to
gotta
vote.
Yeah, it's only on the ballot.
And yeah,
It hasn't passed. If you want it to pass, go do your due diligence and vote.
right.
But this kind of gets at like Mark Maron had a funny bit in his last Netflix special where he was like, oh, we all spout off information as if we know it.
Yeah.
Because most of the things, if you ask somebody how you know that, they're like, some guy told me. Like, that's most of how our information is passed, you know, from person to person.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really go, you know, any deeper than that. We hardly ever do any research. We kind of like, and I mean, this is partly our fault, you know, that we're not digging deep. But like we were saying earlier, like it is part fault on, you know, journalistic integrity because
Yeah.
I guess there's a trust with the public, or there used to be at least.
There used to be.
There used to be a trust with the public and
Right.
the news organizations be like, oh well, they're going to give me, you know, credible, factual news, you know.
Right.
But I mean, we're in this crazy era where like everything's politicized. Like we have to go to YouTubers for like
for
some legit
unbiased,
news.
yeah.
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 I
And
mean,
that's what's horrible too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, isn't it like God, I'm probably hopefully I'm not wrong, but isn't it like in the Constitution that, you know, it's supposed to be national news outlets along with postal service as well, you know?
Well, there is the freedom of press.
There you go. Yeah, there's
So-
freedom of press. Yeah.
But I think why maybe freedom of press also means like you kind of have the freedom to do reporting. Well, the freedom of press is basically put there so that they could actually report on the government, so that people can know information about the government. So, you know, the government can't uprise against the people. So basically the people have an information source.
Yeah.
And so that's there for that. But I think what we were saying is like the news organizations are mishandling that trust, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
they're for clicks,
Yeah.
you know, and it sucks because, you know,
Sounds counterintuitive to me. If you really want a reader to be a lifelong reader,
yeah.
I want to feed you the best information possible.
So you know that you
accurate.
can trust me.
Yeah, because it's a trust relationship. You know, it sucks because there was a moment where everything you read could be true. You know, I mean, years back. This dates way before us. You know, when written news was a real trustworthy, you know, way to get your information. And then the news, televised news became something of that. And then it just blew out of fucking, proportion. And then that was something that you can't trust. So it kind of felt like, you can only trust things you read. But now the things you read are also.
I wonder though if it ever was that. Because
who's to say yeah?
Because I remember watching like these things about like people who originally like printed news things, and they even in those like original like 1800 news articles, like they're printing lies or what do you call it, embellishments. So I wonder if it was like kind of like one of the things like the bat story.
Yeah,
like it's something I wanted to believe.
I can't find it.
Like I wanted to believe that the that the news organizations were. We're legit, And so I wonder if maybe it was a trust that was never there to begin with, and maybe it shouldn't have been there, or should have been there, but we should have known better, because we know people are going to corrupt things to be corrupt,
Yeah.
And you're right. Like if you're going to be a good news organization, you're going to have to prove yourself over time that you're giving me good, solid information, and things. False clickbaity headlines are counterintuitive.
Yep.
Because now I know that's not true. Was it Associated Press or whoever that's from? Like I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna think twice before.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, but always, if you're out there reading news, looking at news, look at it. Since right now it's the current climate, the left and the right. Look at it from every angle.
Yeah.
From
That's
every
a good
side.
idea.
That's what I tell Marissa, because she'll be like, "Oh, this thing on CNN." I'm like, "Go see what it says on Fox, or go see what it says on some conservative outlet," because you want to get both angles. Even they could be all wrong. Get everything you can think about,
dude,
before you make a judgment or in your head.
Yeah, because dude, like, do you think remember the what do you call it? The persona of the Facebook news thing, where like a lot of like very false information got circulated through Facebook. Now, really quick follow, if you kind of follow me with this, but like, is it migrating to like the Instagram space or the Twitter space? Totally,
Twitter space for sure. I'm not on Instagram so much, but yeah.
Well, what I'm trying to get at with Instagram is like you're seeing a lot of people like post a lot of stuff, especially with like a lot of the
Black Lives Matter, Me Too, all that,
And some of that information, if you go look at, you're like, like, well, I get what you're trying to say here, but that's not really how the facts line up,
Right.
And people are just reposting it, especially when a lot of things are emotionally driven, like kind of how you're saying, Rob, with them dropping George Floyd's name, like that just insinuates you're like, oh, what? Like ears perk up because, people felt an emotional way about that.
I think the majority of people sympathize with that.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're like, cool, like, boom.
Yeah.
But you gotta sit back and think a little bit deeper, and read a little bit more, because if you were to read that headline and be like, done, it's done, cool.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
I don't need to go vote for it. It's good. And then all of a sudden, you guys, when it does come to voting, you're sideblinded because guess what? It didn't get passed.
Absolutely.
Because it was only on the bill. They only put it on the bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, this can go conspiratorial.
Yeah. It could be the other side doing it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it could be a plant.
Oof.
For sure.
I got my tinfoil in there.
No.
Why do you think I was wearing a hat? It's not because I'm balding. It is, but
but it isn't.
But it isn't.
I'm always ready.
Oh,
but yeah,
5G guys.
The truth is out there, man. But
we want to believe.
What we're really saying is double check your sources.
Yeah.
And really, if the news is coming from us,
don't
you really need to double check that.
Yeah, double check
please.
it.
Tell us.
And then let us know.
I like to think though that we're always like, yes, it's of course completely our opinion of these things, but we're like in the center of things, I want to say,
And we're not intentionally trying to spread misinformation,
Yeah. No, not at all. I never know how to actually say this, but that unbiasedness is us just trying to learn, like I like to think that we approach things like that,
I would say we're not unbiased. I would say we try to be aware of our bias.
Yeah.
So we know
That's
that
a good way to put it.
we usually lean a certain way, but we try to realize that when we're looking at something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's always good to clean out that lens that you're looking through, just
give it
reevaluate the fucking situation. Yeah, that's it. Like grandma used to do on your cheek,
Come here, mijo.
Yeah.
But sweet. You guys want to take a quick break?
Sure.
All right, sweet. We'll be right back. And we're back.
Yep.
Just like that.
Got a mini break. Hope you had a mini break.
Go get
Literally
up.
was, because we control how long that break actually is. For you guys. It's not all we're known for.
Seconds.
That's it. That's not true anymore.
Somebody else is trying to say things aren't true.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. This guy's fucking under a lot of fire.
Yeah, buddy.
If you guys haven't heard, there's been some allegations brought against
Sorry, earthquake.
oh no, Satan.
I always leave shit up here.
We have a lot of weird things going on in our office.
If you guys saw it, it's my massager.
Studio.
I got,
Massager.
like, knots.
He's naughty.
He's naughty.
Speaking of naughty.
Speaking of naughty,
We're just going to keep fucking
Not in the good way.
reeling it back in.
Not in the good way.
not in a very good way,
In
but
a fucking horrible way.
yeah.
This guy, he's under a lot of fire. Chris
D'Elia.
D'Elia.
Yep.
If you guys don't know, he's a comedian. He had a TV show back in the day with Whitney Cummings on NBC.
Was that the show you, or was it?
No,
he's-
use the new Netflix
Yes.
show.
He just
got it.
on
Okay.
this season, right?
Yeah.
He's just been on this season. So apparently, some women have brought allegations against Chris D'Elia
Mhm.
for some inappropriate behavior, some sexual harassment.
Yep.
Um,
She was a minor.
Yeah. So there's a couple, right?
Yeah,
there's been a couple. So
Yeah.
been a couple allegations basically saying that Chris D'Elia was trying to get with them while they were underage. Kind of going after them like after his shows or something like that, right?
Yeah. Kind of like, meeting fans, texting them, hitting them up, telling them to come out the parking lot to
Yeah.
give them the old
The old.
in and out.
The old.
The old,
The old in and out.
Supposedly grooming some of them too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are pretty serious allegations. No official charges yet, right?
Nah.
Of anything of any sort. And I believe has his camp made a statement yet?
I know. I think
as of recording this, I don't think.
he came out with receipts, though, of those conversations.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I think he did release a statement. I don't know if it was for this recent allegation though.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah. No, and I think he did actually. It's for this statement.
Oh, it is
it's
for this?
for
Okay.
this recent,
Okay.
slew. Recent, as if he probably has more.
Yeah, basically saying that they're gonna get to the bottom of it because he does have the receipts, like you mentioned,
Yes.
and that the truth will be, brought to
Come on.
light. Is basically what he was saying. That was his defense,
So
that's in a nutshell.
So from the details we've seen, or at least the
We
ones
seem together.
we've seen together, because we're a great news organization.
Yeah.
You know,
It seems that there wasn't any actual
Yes.
illegal activity going on.
right?
Correct
No
the
sexual
mundo.
activity.
No illegal sexual activity.
No illegal. Okay,
Illegal.
yeah,
Illegal.
illegal.
Now maybe some very creepy
Text
sleazeball.
conversation.
I mean, it's all creepy because they're all 17, 18,
Yeah,
19, like that age.
Some of the details are
demo.
basically he was talking to girls that were underage, 17, 16, 17-ish, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then from the receipts he put out
Yeah.
were basically once he found out their age,
he dropped it.
he dropped this situation. But
He waited till they were 18.
right as soon as they blew out those birthday candles.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna slide into those DMs.
I ended up going down a crazy rabbit hole, and there was somebody that did this YouTube episode about other evidences that were brought out, and one of them was that he had one of his close friends who he often tours with and does shows with. He's like an opener for him. If they message him or comment on his story or whatever, he'll tell the friend, okay, message her direct and give her my number. So those girls also showed those read receipts from those conversations as well with those friends that he had.
Oh.
So that just kind of thickened the plot a little more because people were like, it's not over. Way more is going to be exposed.
Oh.
So it's just the groundworks. And again, like we said, fucking nothing has really been, no one's being prosecuted just yet.
So far, everything's allegations. We're kind of just giving our thoughts of what's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
going on.
And the thoughts on him being his age and fucking with these girls, I think that's crazy ridiculous.
He's 43, right?
Yes. So now, yes. Now
Yeah.
he's 43. And when he was doing this, I mean, God knows how long he has been doing this.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been his
But
whole
he was like in
fucking
his
life,
30s, right?
you know?
I think what they were the current
Yes.
allegations,
Yeah.
30s.
Yeah.
So I want to see because I know one of them, like the girl was like, girl hit him up again, you know, because she was like, "Oh, I'm 21 now, let's fuck."
See,
you know,
that's the those are the interesting caveats to the story because right, like we said, once he found out some of these girls were underage, he kind of dropped it. And then at least one of these girls basically came back into the story saying like, "Hey, I'm overage now," you know, so on and so forth.
When can we do this?
Yeah.
So
let's do the deed.
Let's do the deed, the old.
Let's do the damn thing.
which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a pretty weird one. Because if he if he is waiting till they're 18, it's still creepy as fuck. Because in a sense, he's like stalking these girls, waiting for them to turn 18, right?
Or, I mean, a bare minimum, he's, you know, keeping an eye.
Yeah.
He's got that fucking eagle eye.
It's creepy. It's just creepy. It's
See,
creepy.
his words, not mine.
Behavior.
If you watch his comedy, you'll know what
He's
I'm
got
talking about.
control over his ability to be a predator.
I just don't get it,
I
man.
don't wanna say- I
Because
don't wanna
like,
label him that
especially
yet.
with any
Yeah.
sort of celebrity, whether you're fucking C class celebrity or C, you know, it just
Power
there's
dynamic.
potential. You know,
Yeah.
you can get laid. I'm basically saying that.
Yeah.
You know, you can get laid on the merit of your achievements and whatever. And in this case, it sounds more of like sexual preference, or kink.
Yeah, it's his kink.
It's his kink,
Young,
And I mean,
barely legal.
obviously, we all know the legal age is 18.
Yeah.
So once you're 18, we kind of don't have a leg to stand on. It's just it's all preference. If it's consensual, it
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's
It
legal.
could be creepy.
It's
but
creepy.
still-
It's fucking hella creepy,
It's
man.
creepy, but
You're
it's
old enough to be
still-
this person's fucking father.
Yeah.
It's not the craziest things. That's obviously kink too. Like
Yeah.
those of you who enjoy that, more power to you.
Yeah. Do you
Carry on as you were.
Dennis Quaid? I mean,
I mean, there's so many. I mean, so many people. Like, Jesus, dude. Even Hugh Hefner. He can be accused of that too because I don't think he's ever dated an older woman ever. I mean, he's dead now, but
maybe his first wife was like around his
equal age.
Yeah, I think
Something
maybe.
similar.
But then after that, he's
Yeah,
like, I
he's
don't
like,
need this. I got all these younger girls.
I get older, they stay the same age, man.
Well, and see, here's the thing: like, you would never see that's the thing that they're saying about Chris D'Elia too. Is like you wouldn't say he's a good guy with women, at least, and like you wouldn't say like any of these guys, Hugh Hefner or anybody who has an age gap between. Everybody's going to look at them in a pretty negative light for the most part.
Yeah.
Oh well, we look at it and say like, well, they're consenting adults. It's not illegal. Nobody's gonna look at it in the best light,
Yeah.
And so no. But the main question, because we're not denying that, like, if you're a creep, you're a 40-year-old guy, and you're just waiting for them to turn 18, like, that's still creepy as hell, and like, it's not illegal.
It's not illegal, but it's creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's gonna. You're not breaking any laws, but you
you're not
may,
gonna go to jail, but
you may want to take an inventory of your life.
you ain't coming to my daughter's birthday party.
And see, that's the thing. Like, nobody's gonna say like, he's a good guy if that the case is true.
Yeah.
So, but the thing we're talking about is it is it wrong? Wrong? I don't know what I'm trying to ask here.
No, I'm thinking that I was gonna ask you guys that if everything comes out and it's all gravy, everything's like they were consenting adults, like everything's good, yes, he's older. What do you guys think? I don't think it's wrong. It's creepy, but not wrong.
And
It's not wrong. I mean, obviously.
And but then
not wrong or not illegal? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, you're going that. I don't think it's.
Oh, well, you're gonna redefine. Okay, well,
the old switcheroo.
the old switcheroo. I have to be careful with my words here.
Because
It's not illegal, and he's allowed to. I'll just fucking say that because I mean, I would never, personally. So, and I wouldn't even approve of any of my friends doing that. So,
and see, that's the thing. Like, because in the grand scheme of things, like 17 years old and 364 days isn't a whole lot different between 18 years old in one day.
Sure.
yeah,
There's not a big difference there.
Yeah.
So like to draw, it's a weird line in the sand to draw,
Yeah.
So to say that it's wrong, like that's where like I would go, especially the age gap in my head and the way I feel, and first thoughts are like, yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah.
So when does it become
on a moral? But like, is it illegal?
That's a good question.
Yeah. When does it become right?
Mm.
When you're 21?
Not even there.
Yeah.
I mean, I really feel like 25 is the fucking sweet spot.
I like that because we always talk about
We do.
your brain's not fully developed till you're about 24, 25.
And I think that's really what it is for me. Now that I am as old as I am, I think back now and I look at my daughters and I just use my common sense and I'm thinking, okay, like we're just at 18, 19, 20, you're just not there yet. You can definitely be very naive still and impressionable. And someone can just swoop in and smoke and mirrors, make it seem like they have a certain lifestyle or a certain amount of money. And you can just be sold on that. It's a fucked up thing because as an adult, we all feel like, oh no, we all can, I know when I'm being played. But when you're fucking 17, 18,
you
like,
have no sense.
way.
Yeah, because that 18-year-old, like, adult threshold is just, what do you call it? Not a facade, but it's like it's an imaginary line we drew.
Yes.
Because
true.
Well, yes, there may be some 18-year-olds that are very mature beyond their age, can probably make some very good cognitive decisions, like what type of relationship they're supposed to be in. There's a lot that can't.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, I just think to myself when I was 18, I'm like, I was making dumb decisions, I'm still making dumb decisions.
Yeah.
Here's a good thought. All right, so if we draw the line here, like say 25.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, what about like drinking, going to war, like
well, it's a weird thing because like it's like where do you draw lines for other things, like if you're not an adult enough to make your own decisions on what type of relationship you're supposed to be in,
are you going to be smart enough to be like, go to war or to drink and drive, stuff like that?
And arguably, you probably make an argument that like, drinking at a young age or enlisting in the military at a young age, it could be a worse decision than maybe
for sure.
being in a relationship with somebody older. Because not everybody who's older than you has ill intent in a relationship. Maybe some, they may be older than you, but maybe they're super caring. They actually do care about you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, you're right. There could be an argument made like that's actually worse for you,
Yeah.
Should we bump everything up to 25?
Right.
We kind of should, but
I think too, like a lot, we're culturally in a hangover position because like, I mean, just a century ago, people were being married off at the age of 14,
like 12, I think in the Bible,
So crazy.
So I mean, like,
imagine.
I think we're in a hangover age where we're like, okay, we just kind of like made an arbitrary age of like 18. You're an adult.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of seeing like,
and that's and then we're only thinking about like the U.S.
Right.
What about like different countries like Germany, where drinking age is like 16?
Yeah.
It's true.
So it's weird.
And not only that, like the conversation changes always in your head a little bit, like not the legality of it, but like say a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Like legality is still the same.
The legality is the same, but you kind of be like,
yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
Because maybe it boils down to that
the gap.
They're closer in mental capacity.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's what it is. Because you look at an 18-year-old and a 30-year-old, not in the same mental capacity.
Yeah.
Like, one is more mature, should be making better decisions, and the other one's a little younger, maybe an impressionable, But I mean, I don't know. Like the libertarian side of me wants to be like, well, make your own decisions.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna screw up your life, screw up your life. Like,
all fair and love and war, right?
I don't know. Like I'm conflicted on some of these things.
Yeah. I mean, God, because I get what you're saying. Like the libertarian side of me says, like, yeah, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
do what you want. You're, legal age in the United States is 18. So go ahead. After that, go flourish, do what you want. But then, like having a daughter, I'm like, oh fuck, no.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, if I'm talking about someone else, go make your. But I'm thinking
Not
if
my
it was in
kid.
my house, I'm
Exactly.
Yeah. So even that's very hypocritical. I'll say it's very hypocritical
and so that's the
of
thing.
me.
It's a conflict, because if you think about it, like when it hits closer to home, like your tone starts to change a little bit, like.
Absolutely.
Because like you can think about it like, oh, these girls, say they were 18 and they're with Chris, you're like, well, they were adults, but then if you change it, bring it closer to home, you're like, well, that was my daughter. Like, oh well, no, that's.
But
not
then too,
fly.
let's not forget in the current climate, like women could do what they want. You know, I'm just saying it's always been that way. Don't get my words all twisted and shit.
We just approved it that you could do.
Yeah,
Just today.
I'm just saying, like,
Someone's
welcome.
gonna take that out of
we
context.
gotta. I know. We gotta think we're males, and
Yeah.
we can't just think like, oh, we can dictate the behavior of females, you know,
mean,
or whatever.
It's not male female.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a male female conversation.
Dynamic.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just it's the age dynamic.
Yeah,
that's,
because
that's what I have a problem with.
You're right. If I flipped it in my head, like if it was a 17-year-old boy and a
Yeah.
40-year-old woman, I just still the same way. Like that dude is not mentally, stable to
Yeah.
be in a
Well,
relationship.
Stella got a groove back is all wrong.
Stella got her groove back.
Because in that movie, the male was 20 and she was like 40 something. So we're gonna cancel that movie next.
Quick, just to
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's really interesting because that's that same
That's
thing
what I mean.
that we're
It's
fighting
okay.
for, you
It
know?
looks
Yeah.
okay if
Yeah.
it's on the female.
And that
end.
was that old male mentality where we would have just been like, no, that's fucking dope, man.
Dope, man.
Young
You got a
dude getting an
cougar,
older,
what's
beautiful
up?
woman, that's fucking props, you know,
Yeah.
but you can't do that.
You can't
know?
do that. If it's
can't
gonna be that
fucking-
way
yeah.
for guys, then guess what? It's got to be that way for
it has
girls.
to
the
be.
rules have to be even across the board.
Yeah.
And this is where I get back to or I was gonna ask a question like, damn, I just lost it.
Oh, there.
Just like that.
It's just
Oh, there.
some fugazi, bro.
Fugazi,
It's a woozy, it's a wazi.
Damn it.
But yeah, like we would have to be across the board, you know.
Yeah.
And
I think
and
in
that's
order-
gonna like changing, like the cultural young male thinking, like, yeah, get with the older girl. That's cool. It's gonna be a tough one.
It's a perception thing. Oh, I remember my question.
All right,
Hey,
cool.
So, is it because? So, just kind of flip it, maybe plays devil's advocate a little bit, or at least to throw in an interesting question.
Okay.
Is it because of the goal of the relationship that we're thinking of?
Yeah.
Like, maybe an 18-year-old and a 35-year-old, their goal isn't to be in a stable long-term relationship. So, therefore, you don't need to be at the same mental capacity.
Yeah,
you
they're
know?
just trying to get the fuck on.
No, I mean, yeah, if that's the case, okay.
I mean, I'm still thinking it's wrong.
But it, like, yeah.
Like-
If they're both like,
Because-
I know, it's weird, dude.
Because if you're, the terms we're putting forward is kind of to be in a healthy relationship, right?
Right.
And
yeah, we gotta think too. We like the way we think, like the way I think. I'll say it myself. I was never the guy to go just sleep around.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
it looks wrong to me. But if I take myself outside of that, I gotta be like, no, it's like in my like where I think my libertarian side. It's like do whatever you want,
yeah,
as long as you don't interfere with me.
Yeah.
So and that's where I gotta check my own bias.
yeah,
Right.
because you're right. Like if we start like so you arbitrarily decided that 18 is adulthood.
Yeah,
If we start moving it because of whatever reasons,
Yeah.
like maybe it's tough, but there's certain things you just kind of have to draw a line and be
Yeah.
like kind of hope for the best, I guess.
and
Like,
the reason why I kind of like side with that a little bit more is because I don't want to be telling someone what to do because I don't want no one telling me what to do.
Sure.
So it's like,
well, and then the other side of it too is like
Yeah.
maybe you're not telling them what to do, but you can have your reservations on how
oh
you
yeah,
feel
for
about
sure.
it. Like
we all have our own opinions.
yeah, exactly. Like I can say like fine, 100%. Like we say legally you're 18, you can decide what you want to do. All go have at it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still think if you're freaking 40 years old and you're trying to get with an 18-year-old, that's still pretty creepy to me.
Yeah, I
like-
might not want to be your friend.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
But go ahead and do you, boo.
Right.
You know.
I there was an interesting thing too. Like I wrote a little
And then we would have to really rethink everything else. Like fucking, you want to drink? Go for it. 18. You want to smoke? Go for it. 18.
Right.
Oh, I think at 18 you can't smoke, right?
Oh, did they just up
21
it?
now.
Yeah, they just
Oh,
upped it, huh?
20?
Yeah. 21.
21? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this thing too, like, remember, this is an ever-evolving social experiment.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like,
for sure.
To think that, like,
Right.
we just drew a line in the sand at a certain time in the past that it cannot be, edited
Yeah.
future going forward is
Yeah.
a wrong way to think about it. Because I mean, we're learning more things, and not only like evolutionary, our minds are changing. I mean, who the hell knows what's gonna happen to kids like in 20 years because now
Technology.
Yeah, technology.
Yeah, for sure. We're different, like almost a different species now. With when we think about it, we've talked about this before. How we have like the older generations that were fucking working like in the fields and coal mines, like when they were like fucking 10 and 12, you know, and their life started so much faster.
For sure. If they wanted that 11-year-old's gonna go smoke a cigarette after a day working in the mine, all to you, brother.
Yeah.
You know, like you work. That was a hard day to work.
They were way more mechanical than thoughtful, you know. They were hands-on opposed to what we are now. I feel like we have so much fucking everything is thought, you know. That's like our power. It's like a, you know, a tool that we can use, you know, for manipulation or for, you know, the opposite, you know.
You're right. Like the generations become more like what do you call it? Like
woke. I'm just kidding.
Wokeness.
You would consider
I just pictured real quick. I just pictured a great meme. We should redo the Keanu meme. Instead of going, whoa, he's like, woke.
Woke. I like that.
That's sick, but that's basically what it is, you know? I mean, kind of, you know?
Well, I think to your point is that generations in the past basically had to grow up a lot quicker.
Yeah.
You know, they had to go to work sooner. They had to start families sooner. I mean, the medium age, you know, that you would live to was like, what, 45, 55, you know, before? Yeah. So, I mean, now people are living to, I mean, we just talked about, you know, Carl Reiner, right?
Yeah. 98.
98?
Yep.
Did I get his name right? Yeah.
Yeah. You got it.
And
second guess myself.
He's part of a group of people that live to be that age too. There's still a few around right now too. Betty White, Alan Alda, Dick Van Dyke also. We talked about Dick Van Dyke.
I can't believe that guy's still
late 90s. And Mel Brooks, his best friend. He's 94. He just celebrated his birthday 2 days ago. So yeah, I mean, they're like a different type of, I don't even know, breed.
They're built different.
Yeah, they're built way different, man.
If Chris D'Elia lives to be 98 and he's still pulling this.
Yeah.
Well, when does it stop? I mean, I know now he's also, I think he's married. At some point he was engaged and still like doing that.
Oh,
like,
that's shady. That's just shady.
Chicks, you know. Some of the girls said that they found out that he was engaged and supposedly maybe had his girl pregnant, and they were like, "I don't want to talk to you anymore." And then you know that stopped their relationship. But
see, and this is where I kind of get to the point I was making before. You can probably agree maybe he's not a good guy.
Yeah,
not a good guy to women.
Yeah,
but legally, that doesn't necessarily make him guilty.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
right.
being a shitty dude doesn't mean that you should be a predator.
Yeah, it should be a crime. You know, pretty much. Yeah, you're just a shitty human being.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe we can kind of like leave it off there that like he's probably a shitty dude.
Yeah, because I don't want to label this guy a predator yet until it comes out the motherfucker's a predator.
Yeah.
Right. Because like you say those words and it ends people's careers nowadays.
That's the truth. No,
which
man.
Probably this guy's career is not probably ended. If it comes out that it happened, it's ended. But like, just even mentioning those
as
words,
well as should be.
Yeah. Right. Oh, for sure. You know?
I mean, he deserves. We talked about this recently too with somebody else's allegations. I forgot what we were talking about, but he deserves his day in court. You know, he really does. Yes. You know, he deserves for. Oh, it was the guy who killed George Floyd. How you were saying that based on the bias right now, he just needs to be burned at the stake. You know, he's convicted and he deserves his court. You know, because that's that's our gift as a fucking you know an American.
That's how our society works. Like,
that's how our society
even
works.
Though you're guilty in the court of public opinion already, there's still we still have checks and balances. We still have due process that needs to be done.
Right.
So,
and because of that, and because it's our right, they all deserve that right. You know.
Yeah. Because
whether or not we think they're guilty.
And I mean, you could feel however you're gonna feel. Like in my eyes, freaking Derek Chauvin is probably guilty. He needs to be
for sure he's guilty.
But at the same time,
same time, he deserves his day in court. Just because, guess what? It could happen to you.
Exactly. That's what I was
and you're
gonna
gonna want your day in court. You're gonna want to be able to speak and bring your evidence forward.
Yeah.
Because it could be totally bogus. Whatever happens to you.
Shoot yourself in the foot. Don't say no. We don't want that. Because then one day, just like Ed said, it can be fucking turned and
it could be you in the court.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the great things that, you know, we don't necessarily, we are all do our, if we are charged of a crime, we get our day in court.
Yeah.
And we really hope that the system prevails.
Yeah. Which shit fails sometimes for sure.
And
oh my God.
That's where
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of the kind of mistrust comes from and why people
corrupt system.
Yeah. And we want to think like, and sometimes it kind of, you lose your respect for the system. So you're like, oh, well, like, justice isn't going to be done.
Yeah, because it was all a technicality.
Mm-hmm. Just like right here, like technically, Crystalia may have not done anything illegal.
Yeah, yeah. Could have just been a shady dude, a creepy dude.
This is what and this is where like so I forgot who was talking about it, but they're like, let's say like he finds out like everything was legal, legit. You know, the girl's allegations were false or whatever it might have been. Then let him be judged by his fan base,
his peers.
If they still want to follow him, if they still want to be a fan to him.
Hey,
that's cool. If you choose not to follow him because you still think he's a creepy dude, he's a bad dude, then that's up to your right. Then
I think it's vote with your wallet.
Yeah. And speaking of fan base, him being a lot smaller than someone like, let's say, Louis C.K., who had allegations brought up on him that were completely different, though, because he was just doing lewd sexual acts
in the ballpark. But
ballpark. But this is, I mean, if you're going to grade it on a scale of, I don't know which was more disgusting, but they're both crazy.
Yeah,
but
apples and muffins.
But these allegations being, with underage, at the time, women, it may just. I mean, Louis C.K.'s fucking career is fucked.
That's true.
So I can imagine that the same thing will happen for him. And they say, like, no matter what, the moment that you just get any allegations, dude,
boom,
you're fucked.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I get it. I get it and sympathize that with the whole thing of like believe women, but hey, they're humans, just like guys are, and sometimes we fib.
I think, like when that sentiment came out, the believe all women, like. I felt like what they should have been saying was like take these allegations seriously.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what was really the underlining message was like in the past, women's even them coming out with allegations weren't taken seriously. They were like,
for sure.
You changed your mind at the last minute or something like that. So even for them to bring allegations, men too, even them, to bring allegations was not taken seriously. So until the pendulum swing like way the other way, where it went to like instead of taking it seriously, like, well, no, we're just gonna believe them.
We're just gonna believe them, and then whoever's accused is burned. Until they're guilty until proven innocent.
And the big, what do you call it? The problem with that is it becomes a witch hunt. It becomes like, I mean, we all learned in history class and, in elementary school and junior high about the Salem witch trials, Like if you're not given your day in court, the mob can burn you at the stake. Did I lisp right now? But
I think you did.
Stevie? My mouth is getting dry, parched. But, you get burned at the stake, when you don't have your day in the court.
Yeah.
In the court. Yeah.
Yeah, in court.
In court.
On the line.
On the line.
On the line.
But yeah, I mean, hey, if it comes out this guy did some shit stuff and it's all true,
then we can burn him at the stake.
Yeah, exactly. But until then,
everything will come at him.
We'll sell him special strange noise pitchforks.
Oh gosh. We're not inciting violence. Okay.
Foam ones, like
But this whole thing is huge, especially for him. I think I read that his management company dropped him. I don't know if you read that.
The CCA,
Okay.
The comedians, I forget what it's called, something Academy.
They pulled his Workaholics episode.
Yep. And then you know what's funny? Did you guys in the new show that came out, he played a pedophile.
Crazy.
He played a pedophile in that show.
Art imitates life?
Art imitates life. Oh shit.
So they're like, they're trying to like cover their tracks, I guess, by pulling those, because it seems more of like a known typecast, premeditated. I don't know.
But it's an ever-evolving story.
Yep. Anyway, we'll be here to update you.
Definitely. And there's so many. They just keep popping up.
Oh yeah, there's like tons.
It's like ridiculous.
The whole thing that happened last week in the gaming community.
I forgot this is like part 2 of
yeah. It really is.
The whole thing that happened in the gaming community now and it's leaking out in the community. It's like,
dude,
it's really everywhere.
Just know that there's shitty people out there, and that you should always watch your back and trust in people you can trust in.
Like Wu-Tang said, protect your neck.
Protect your neck.
Protect your neck.
Dude, that's a good one.
Let's just end on that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
That's a good one.
Protect your neck.
No, don't have better words than that.
Yeah, you don't.
But I guess we'll end it there.
Yeah,
for shizzle.
I mean, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Hope you guys had some laughs.
Yeah.
Had a cry. Maybe had a snack.
Yeah. I need a snack. I want a snack.
I don't know, enjoy the time, however you spent it.
Yep. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Insta, everything over there.
All those.
Hit the bell notification so you know when we drop a new one.
Yes, please.
Yep.
Or the Wangel doesn't get its wings.
Yes, the Angel. I forgot about that one. We gotta make a shirt.
But I guess until next time, everybody, take care, be safe, as Ed said, and Bill and Ted said, be excellent to one another.
Yes.
Yes.
Wash your damn hands.
Peace.
Please. And see you on the next one.
Later.
Bye.